Hello there and welcome. My name is Liesel Teversham and I'm from SavvySelfGrowth.com. I'd love to introduce you to my friend and colleague, Thomas Broeker. I met Thomas in a course that we were both in online. We had an inspiring conversation after that about marketing for sensitive people. And I asked him whether I could interview him so I can share with you what was so inspiring for me on that day. So I've got Thomas here, and let me share a little bit about him. He says most heart-driven entrepreneurs don't know how to find their ideal clients. They're overwhelmed and they don't have a clear marketing strategy. And that's why Thomas helps them through authentic, heart-driven marketing to gain freedom and joy in what they are doing. I so love that. So welcome, Thomas. It's so great to have you today.
Thank you so much, and I'm so happy to be here with you.
Thank you, Thomas. So I can't wait to share with our listeners what was so inspiring for me on the day that we chatted last time. And I want to jump in with this question because that was what really caught my attention, is how you got into this work that you're doing now and why is it so important for you? If you can start there for us.
Yes, so I think the story started back then when I had a burnout because I was really not in contact with myself. And that's when my conscious journey started of like discovering who I am and what I really care about. And I was self-employed already and at that time, and everything I found online or in the marketing world was based on manipulation and like getting customers and like the weapons of marketing and like seeing like it's like a hunt and like your customers are the prey, and it felt so off, and still I needed to make money to make a living. So it was a really deep dilemma and frustration, like either I'm true to myself and I don't have any customers, or I do what all the marketers say and like just like get them and shoot customers or whatever. And but I cannot do it. So I just cannot do it or couldn't do it. And then I started discovering, or because I really went into this field like 24/7, it kept me awake at nights. You can imagine. And then one puzzle piece at a time, I discovered like tools for what I call authentic marketing. So things I could say or methods I could use to reach out to customers, but in a way, like instead of selling, making an invitation, for example. So this shift of energy, so the tools are nearly the same like in normal marketing, but it comes from the heart and not from the mind, and that makes all the difference. And what happens then if you do it is that you get the customers that you love and that you can support. And you can market, so it's coming together. And this is where I found like a great relief, because it really took me over 7 years now to gather these tools and like make a complete puzzle out of the several puzzle pieces, so that it's a strategy that doesn't have a hole in the middle where you feel like, okay, and now the whole thing collapses because something is missing. But now it's, in the last year, it has become smooth and and much more fun and much more effective. So this is also one part which I love. It's so much easier to just be nice to people and invite them instead of shooting at them, because like if you shoot at them, they run away. If you're nice, they want to come to you. So I don't understand why there are so few people who want to do authentic marketing, but I'm really happy to be on this call and share it with you, because I think especially highly sensitive people, and I'm highly sensitive myself. So this is also where the struggle came from. If I wouldn't have felt my heart, all good, I would have just manipulated people, but I just couldn't do it. So this is how this came together.
Yes, and I'm so glad that you mentioned the highly sensitive part. Those are the people that I work with, and that's exactly why we connected so well, because I think we're so on the same page with that. Is the kind of marketing language that's out there, usually like you call shooting. We talk in English about the target market. So it's like you put them there on a pin, and you have to shoot at them with an arrow or a gun or something to hit the target. And if you could perhaps also share a little bit about sort of how you started doing this work with sensitive people, because you were, as far as I can remember, more into video or TV, somewhere like that. That's kind of the background that you came from, marketing in the traditional sense.
Yes, so I studied movies and television and was a cameraman on TV. And then I switched and was wondering, but like, what should I like put in front of the camera? And then I started my journey with becoming a communication trainer and like communication, because marketing is communication in the end. So I just love communication, and like also having the customer on one side and the coach on the other side, and like bringing them together. This is for me communication. So this is my background. And then I had my burnout, because like I was trying to do it the old way, like just fit in somewhere in society, and all the problems like most highly sensitive people have, like, okay, this spot is for me, but how do I get in? It's like way too small. And I tried to squeeze, but it just didn't really work out. So burnout, which I'm like highly, like so grateful now after having gone through a lot of stuff. And then, yes, I started, like, I got aware of this topic and the name high sensitivity. And this is how I started my own self-discovery. And also then it just felt right to share it and to give talks. And then it went really fast, that within 1 year, like the first talk, there were 2 people. The 12th talk, there were 75. And I had an organic reach on Facebook of over 15,000 people. It's so funny. I've still the screenshot, like invited 150. The people who said I'm coming, 250. Organic reach, 15,000. And in the end, really 75 were in the room, and the room was full. Like it was not a single person would have fit in there. Yes, and the way how this worked out was that the tools I had learned before and that I was still learning regarding marketing fall into place. So also the marketing that I'm talking about is not only working in other niches, like when you do it like where people are a lot in the head, but really for heart-centered people. And this is special, because if you have people who are only in the mind-based marketing works for them. But if you are yourself highly sensitive and you have highly sensitive customers, it just doesn't work. It just, in a glimpse of a second, they feel this is off, it's not for me. Yeah. Or that when you invite, and this is part of the marketing for me, to let go all expectation, like everything which is here, for every workshop, I had to surrender everything. Every self-interest. Then just doing the workshop and saying, I'm doing it. I'm just praying to God that I have the money for next month's rent. And it is true to stay in this place instead of, I need 20 customers. I want 20 customers. How to get more? How to improve my conversion rate? And all that kind of stuff when it comes from here.
Yes.
And if you're resting in your heart and you really just want to serve, and then have the question, but how do I get the word out? Then it can sometimes be so difficult also, because you are an expert. You are level 10. But your customers are level 1. They are beginners.
Right.
And so this is what happens for most highly sensitive experts, which is so sad, because they have an expertise of maybe 20 or 100. But most of the experts out there are level 2. So they speak an easier language for the customer. So the customers end up with an expert who is not an expert, but really just knows some steps more than they do. Because when he's naturally talking, it's nearly the same level. And this is the big question, like how to break down your message and your knowledge on your experience so much down that your customers understand this is for me, without getting overwhelmed, but just knowing like, okay, this is the entry point. So you don't present them the whole thing, but just the entry point. Like, here's the door. If you like to enter, this is what will happen. So very small.
Small steps is what I'm hearing you talking about. So do you think that because I heard you say this, and I just want to make sure that I understand this correct, that you think that highly sensitive people have massive expertise, but they don't have the language, or they don't know how to communicate that, excuse me, to the people who need their services, who may be at level 1, and highly sensitive people may be at level 20 with their expertise.
Yes.
But because the people who are at expert level of 2 or 3 speak a language that's closer to what the customer can hear,
yes,
the customers tend to gravitate to them.
exactly.
So we need to find a way to kind of tone it down and speak the language that our people can understand.
Yes. And then the frustration comes and the self-doubt, like, I know so much, I have this experience, and we feel it in our body. This is true. Like, I'm really, without being arrogant or something, but just knowing, like, I'm really good in what I'm doing. But why are the people going over there? And then you start doubting yourself and think, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I need to buy this other course and improve my skills. What happens then is you rise from level 20 to 25, and the words you use overwhelm your people even more. And this is like a vicious cycle. And then finally you wonder, like, maybe I should just get a day job. Maybe it's just not working. And on the other hand, you know, like, the customers that you have, they are super satisfied. They can, like, you cannot stop them from recommending you, because they go crazy. They, like, it's not this normal, like, customer service relationship, but it's like a friendship, or like you really care. It's like, not like, it's similar like a friendship, like it's real care, and they feel it. And this is like,
it's a deep relationship. Yes,
exactly, yes.
deep
And
connection.
then, yes, and then the confusion is there, like, what is missing? Like, I have this expertise, the customers that I have are super happy, but I just can't get new ones, or they just don't get it, or the more I talk, the more I confuse, and they go like this. And then you want to share more because you feel like you haven't said the right thing. And yes, this, it's, in the end, it's the message, like, what do you communicate? And this also has to do with humility and really getting down from your level 20 expertise, like climbing down the mountain that you climbed, like your own transformation, and getting to where the customer is standing, and really getting away from your light, or taking your light down the valley and bringing it, like the small candle, to the customer, and saying, like, hey, there on the mountaintop, on the summit, there's a big fire waiting for you, but I know you cannot handle, like, the big fire now, so just a candle, just a glimpse.
Ah, that is so beautiful. And I think in our previous conversation, what I can remember you saying is that is part of the service. That is how we are of service, when we can come down from our mountaintop and bring the little candle. That is part of the heart. It says, I know that's what my people can take in right now.
Yes.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Oh, Thomas, this is so valuable already. So what I'd like to start then, let's go a few steps back. And if you can explain to us, what is it when we talk about authentic marketing? And yeah, so let's start there. What is authentic marketing?
Yes. So in the end, authentic marketing for me is just, in the end, just being true, like really say what you mean without the second agenda behind. But just, for example, if I invite people for a workshop, I tell them, I'd love to have you there. This is what you get. This is the journey you go through, the transformation. This is how your life can look afterwards. And then just saying there are 15 seats, or there's 50 seats, or whatever, the workshop is happening then, and I'd really love to have you there. But then, and this is what it makes different, just staying there, open with invitation, instead of moving somewhere, like this, or also hiding is also not authentic, but just this movement that is involved, just letting go of that and really resting in your offer, and just like radiating it outside, I could say. And it's also a shift from marketing from here, like how do I get customers, blah, 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 all this stuff that is here, to do it from here and spreading the word from here. And the words can be nearly the same, but the feeling behind what people sense, especially highly sensitive people, this is where the main difference is. You feel like, wow, that feels nice. I'm attracted to this. I'd like to learn more about it. And then
Right.
when the steps are clear, like, oh, here's the first glimpse, the little candle. Oh, that looks nice. This is interesting. I like it. And then you go, okay, now I've eaten this candle. So where's the next one? Now I'm ready for the bigger one. So it's
Right.
also next. So one thing is the heart, like making heart based. The other thing is like really serving your customer, because I believe that your service doesn't start when the customer has given you the money, or the client,
Mm-hmm.
but it starts with marketing, because already the marketing is part of the transformation your people go
Right.
through. And some people say, okay, I just take the step in reading your marketing material, and it's already transformation for me. I get a glimpse. I finally see hope. I see the light. And some
Oh,
people choose to go on the journey with you, and some say, okay, this is nice, but it's not for me, or it's not the right time. But alone, like this mind shift in seeing my marketing as service, my marketing already is part of my work. It's already helping people. This alone can like change your relationship to marketing, so that it's not like I need customers and am I greedy and all that kind of stuff. But hey, I'm serving by like this interview with you now. It's part
yes.
of my marketing also. It's part of getting the message out. And in the end, it's not really about me, because I mean, there's so many ways to make a living. And when you're above the stage of like, how can I pay my bills? I know for a lot of highly sensitive people, what they care about is caring and like having an impact in the world. And
Yes.
this is like what I'm burning for. So it's like when you focus on being of service and improving the lives of others, abundance and that kind of stuff for yourself will be a side effect, but it's not what really matters. Because
Right.
I mean, money doesn't fulfill anyone, but knowing you're doing the right thing and you're getting something back for it so that you can sustain yourself, this is where like humility comes in again, where it's really, where it's out of the connection and also receiving, and not just like, because a lot of especially highly sensitive people block away this I shouldn't receive, this kind of stuff is going on there. So I
Yes.
do my work, but I don't allow the feeling that I receive from others that are great, so grateful for what I do. But if you do, it just touches you, and it like
Yes.
cracks your heart open, and just you find yourself on the floor in humility. This is what happens to me often, in tears, because you feel so blessed to be able to do this work, and it just yeah, it's just an incredible feeling.
Yes, it's a real privilege if we get to work to the people with the people who actually are our people, and that
Mhm.
give us a feeling like I really did what I came here to do. I'm
Yeah.
making a difference. And we can't get to that work unless we get this marketing piece right.
Yes.
That's what's so frustrating, what you mentioned in the beginning. So I heard you say, and I think that's a really important point that I just want to highlight, that if we can see our marketing already as part of the service, it's
Mhm.
not this what I'm doing today in my marketing may or may not lead to customers, but I've already made an impact in the world if I
Yes.
get this marketing piece right in the way that speaks to my heart and speaks to other people's hearts.
Yes.
Yeah. So so in contrast, Thomas, what is so that's authentic marketing.
Mhm.
We sort of spoke a little bit about the other types right in the beginning. Can you just remind us? So like what is inauthentic, or I don't know, what would you call it? Just, the old way of marketing. How does that look in contrast to this?
So I would say it starts with a big I, a me, that wants to have a personal benefit and doesn't care about the rest too much. But it cares maybe a little bit, but the main interest is keeping me alive. And I need, or I want, no matter if it's true for my heart or not, I have this idea and I will make it happen, no matter what the cost.
Right.
Not only no matter what the cost for others, but also for myself. But you often pay with health problems on the long run, stuff like that. You don't sleep well at night because deep inside you know it's wrong what you do. Like,
Right.
yeah, and it's not, yeah, and the customers you have cheated them into buying. They wouldn't have bought by free will, by their own decision, but you manipulated them so that they bought. So you cannot even be satisfied by what you do because you know it's fake.
Right.
It's just all made up, and it takes a lot of energy to keep this game running. And the bigger the game becomes, the more energy you need to put in because it doesn't happen naturally.
Right. I can see that. Yes.
So you have this like treadmill which is growing. On the outside, it looks like you become more and more successful and other people are looking up to you, which you like because deep down you feel self-doubt because you know it's all fake. And in the inside, you are afraid that that the treadmill will just like destroy you, which is also going to happen. So it becomes like more and more tense. The
Right.
pressure from outside gets higher and higher because you want to sustain this image of, wow, I'm successful, because this is what you deep down long for.
Yes.
Yeah, and then hopefully you learn the lesson fast and something happen, or otherwise something will happen that, for me, like the burnout that I had, that says,
Right.
okay, Thomas, it's good now stop. Like, now just stop this bullshit.
Right. So that's what happened for you, is in this, like, trying to pretend that this marketing thing's working for me, and um, that's when your burnout happened. Is that how it went?
Yeah, for me it was another story, but it
Okay.
can be a story like this to
Okay.
keep it simple. Yeah.
Yes. 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 I've I've really come across this pretty often. In fact, a person that we both know had exactly this happen for them. It's like big
Mm.
success, big
Yeah.
programs, big targeting kind of
Yeah.
languaging. And like you said, there's this huge goal. It's
Mhm.
like a hard goal, and I need to reach that goal no matter what the cost.
Yes. And also one thing is, it's always like future oriented. So you're
Yes.
never in the present. It's always like, when I have achieved this goal, then I will be happy. Then I will be fulfilled. So,
Right.
and it never happens. The only thing that happens is you get more stressed out every day. You lose more energy. You lose your health. Like, you're paying the high price, like your relationships, like, just fall apart or like decrease. So it's a process. It doesn't happen like from today to tomorrow, but like, it's really your life's quality is going down with every second, with every day,
Yeah.
until it finally falls apart, or something, or if you're blessed, something happens that just like gives you the kick or the push in the right direction that you need.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of anxiety in that. Like, if only it's for women, it's often like, if I lose this 5Ks, I'll allow myself to be happy. Or if if I
Yeah.
just, it's this future stuff. It's like we never arrive. We
Yeah.
just don't arrive. So we don't get to have a happy life.
Yes.
So I'd love to ask you next, what mistakes do you see entrepreneurs make in their business?
Oh, that's a huge question. So let's see, maybe highly sensitive people. I break it down a little, right?
That's perfect. Fantastic. That's who we're talking to today.
Um, the first thing which I often see is this is more in the start period, like having too many projects or ideas. Um, and this is also the thing, if you're an expert, like, on so many levels, like how to put it on all in one direction, how to streamline it.
Yes.
And one solution for it is to remember or to be aware of what you're good at. For example, I just love communication,
Mm-hmm.
and I love working one-on-one with people. I love talking. I love
Mm-hmm.
interviews. I love sharing what I've discovered.
Yeah.
I love group coachings or workshops. and I don't really care too much about the subject. So this is one really important thing. It's like the subject is like the little details, like it's the top of the iceberg, right? And you can get lost there. Because is it this detail or that detail? And realizing it doesn't really matter. What really matters is I want to be of service, and I've realized some things in my life. I've gone through a transformation, and it might be helpful for others, so I want to share it. So this is one of the biggest mistakes. And if you realize, so when I realized, like, I just love talking, I love coaching and consulting, and I also see marketing as coaching, because it's connecting customer and offer. So marketing is out of love. If I have entrepreneurs, and I can help them to bring them together with their customers, I enjoy it as much as a personal coaching. Which brings me to the second point, that a lot of highly sensitive people choose niches where they don't get paid. So they have this huge value that they can bring to their customers, but they choose a context which prevents them to receive and also to make it sustainable. And then they start thinking about the day job, or like, okay, this is nothing. And then they are about to give up serving the world in the way they could, because of just doing this decision of choosing the wrong customers. So it's really important to find a context where you can get paid. Otherwise, it's no business. It's a hobby then. It's a charity.
Yes. Excuse me, can you give us an example of what you've seen? A sort of a niche that is in a place where, for instance, I mean, if we do work in a sort of where people generally expect charity or some free services, then it's possibly a hard one to earn an income in. So have you seen examples?
Yes, or I can give you my own painful story as an example, because there's I feel the most pain, or I also have learned my lesson.
Yes.
So when I started these workshops for highly sensitive people, I myself came out of a crisis. So the people I choose, and like what I was talking about, was how to get out of a burnout, out of a crisis. So the people that came to me were the same people. And in Germany, we have a strong social system. So healthcare is paid, psychologists are paid, therapy is paid. So I had a niche of people who had nearly no money, who were in a situation where they had lost their job or something, where they could get the help of the government. They would have paid for it. And I was competing with them and telling people without money, hey, please buy my stuff. I really want to help you. And so inside this niche, I had people coming to me to my talk, which was donation based, recommended €3, which is like a small amount of money for some people.
Yes.
But some said, like, or I remember this situation when one guy showed up and said, oh, €3, that much I don't have with me. I need to go to the ATM.
Wow.
And then another example, then I went to a conference and I knew the organizers, like the facilitators. And I just wrote them an email and said, like, hey, I bring my camera anyhow. So if you like, I can do some video or a photo, because this is my background. And they said, okay, we don't have a budget, but can you do something for €1,000? And this is the difference. And imagine, right? In the first example, I felt like I have to fight or like justify that €3 is okay for the talk, and felt like I need to, like, what is this? It's like he is not willing to pay even €3.
Yes.
And on the other hand, €1,000, no problem.
Yes. Huge difference in the feeling that it leaves the person who's on the earning side with, yes, I'm the same person, but in this place, I'm not valuable, or I'm not valued, or people can't pay me. And in this side, it's like, no problem. We think you're worth much more, but we can only pay this. And to you, it's like, oh,
yes,
what a difference. Yes.
And this is choosing the right niche. And for sure, you can also do like serving the niche that doesn't have money, but as a charity. But don't make the mistake of trying to serve them first, because you need to make a living, otherwise you cannot help them. And this was really a lesson for me, because for sure I chose the niche because it had something to do with me, right?
Yes. It's where you came from, so you identified with how they felt and you were on the same page, but it wasn't the person who was going to be able to pay you.
Exactly.
Right.
And see, with these B2B clients, I only needed like 2 to 3 to make a living, like very easily. So, and it was so easy, right? It was like, hey, do you need a video? Okay, I can do one for you. Or do you need some consulting? I can do it. So it's like similar what I do,
Yes.
communication and
Yes.
helping them to find customers, which I love, but just the context was different. So, and this is also the thing. So you can stay true to yourself and just wonder, like, what I offer, where are the people who not only need it, but who can also afford it, and are willing to spend the money for.
Right. So
And
you
this is,
still offer the same sort of thing, but just in a very different context. Yes.
yes. And you see, now I have grown and evolved. So I see, for me, it was necessary to pick this niche to really get a mirror for what I feel deep inside, and really until it was completely released. And then I felt like this is no longer true for me. This doesn't work, this highly sensitivity stuff, like I'm just fed up with it, or I'm done with it. And I feel like I'm repeating myself again and again and again. So it's like, becomes boring. And then I realized this authentic marketing already, clients were coming. I don't know where they were coming from. It just happened that I just saw like my balance sheet and realized 90% of that year's income was marketing, but 95% of my energy I put into the high sensitivity business. And then I realized, okay, what I had felt a long time, that this high sensitivity stuff is a charity. And I always knew it deep inside my heart. It's not meant for a living. I want to give it. It's like, I love it, but it's not meant as income source. But this marketing, there I felt empowered, like, yes, this is where I also can easily talk about money. In the high sensitivity field, it was always like this.
Yeah. I hear you. I've come across it as well, that they're very like, oh no, you know, money is a very touchy subject. We shouldn't talk about it. It's
Exactly.
too, I don't know, icky or something. It's not spiritual enough. So
Yes.
we think, oh no, not money.
And here comes the magic, to sum it up, like what I said in the beginning, with breaking the message down. So imagine what happens when there are people who are not highly sensitive, or who are highly sensitive, but are maybe they have a great career or whatever, and they are looking for exactly what you are, or this quality that you have in your life, not caring too much about money and like the material things, but really being rooted in yourself, knowing who you are, being true to yourself. And when you put this together, it's so amazing, because for other highly sensitive people, or in a similar situation, the value of your service is much lower priced also, because it's like they might have done coaching courses, got their 1,000 certificates, that kind of stuff. So just another coaching is different from a person who might be, for example, successful in the material world, but is deeply longing for something that is just most natural for you. So he'll also pay much more and be happy for it, because he sees such value in your offer.
Right. So that's the thing about finding the people who can truly need what you have to offer.
Yes, and this is the thing. So it's also not, because I sense that some people in your audience might think like, yeah, but am I then only about money and just looking for the rich guy? That's not
Yes.
what I mean. But it's about like, for whom do you have the highest benefit? And why should you focus on having a lower, like less benefit? It
Mm.
doesn't it doesn't it doesn't make any sense. So I'm always looking for, like, what person can I help most? What person gets most of what I offer? Like, who needs me? Who needs the service most? And this is the people I
Right.
want to work with.
Right. Okay. There's so much in that that we can explore. Um, and before we do that, I'd just like to check: did you have any other mistakes that highly sensitive people make in their marketing or business?
Um, yes. So one thing is offer too much. I'm doing this and this and this and this and this and this and that. So it's the
Yes.
overwhelm. So
Right.
it's really important to streamline it and see, like, what's the root, like, of all the branches who come out, what's the root, or the seed, like where is it really coming from? What's the, if I distill it, what's the one sentence that I can say, so people understand, oh, this is interesting. And then my offers are just like different branches, or yeah, out of the same thing.
Right.
One other huge mistake, maybe the biggest of all, is not listening to their heart, because deep
Mm.
inside they know what's true to them. And especially in the field of marketing, there's so many people talking about it, so many experts who say, one expert says this, the next one says the opposite, and then we get confused, right? And
Yes.
then you wonder, like, whom should I believe now? Don't believe them, believe yourself, because deep inside you already know what is true for you. You know what to do. You know also what teachings you need, or what lessons you need to learn. You will know, like, to what teacher you are attracted, or marketing guy, or whatever. So just stay true to yourself and just really follow your heart. There is no other way.
Mm.
Especially if you work with other highly sensitive people, because they will notice in a second if it's true what you say or not. And they will turn away when they feel, no, it's just a concept you grabbed from somewhere, but it doesn't resonate. It doesn't feel authentic. It's not for me.
Yes. Yes.
So this,
Okay. Staying true to your heart. So I'm hearing also that it may be a bit of a process because we indoctrinated so much
mhm,
programmed from the outsiders. Here, you should listen
mhm,
to the experts, and here's this one, and here's this one. And perhaps there haven't been too many highly sensitive marketing experts
mhm.
helping us to tune in to what is
Yes,
true for us then.
yes.
So
And see,
it's letting go of the
uh,
programming.
exactly. And it's a different paradigm, right? So the paradigm, the normal market design is, I'm the boss. I tell you what you should do, and you do exactly as I do, and then you will be successful.
Yes, yes, the 6 steps you need to follow.
Yeah, the magic formula, the next shiny object.
Yes.
But authentic marketing is, and also how I see myself, it's just like I do coaching. I am giving nothing as input, or like 99% is the transformation, and just giving space for my client so that they can just find out who they are and what's natural for them. And then a little information is needed here and one there, but it falls in the right place. It's like then the hunger for it is there from the heart. Like,
Mm.
now now I feel it inside, and now I'm excited, but what to do now? And most
Yes.
often they also know this. So it's 99% is inside, and just a thing of, like, getting it clear.
Yes, and I think in life we just don't have those pauses. We don't give it to ourselves to take the
Exactly.
pause and for somebody else to hold that safe space for us to do that
Yes.
is the value. So, oh, this was amazing. Do you have, so I think we'll be coming to a close shortly, and there's just so much more that we can explore, and maybe we'll have another chat
I would love
with
it.
deeper bits. But are there any last words, Thomas, that you can leave us with about authentic marketing or about anything for highly sensitive people?
In the end, like I have said it, just be true to your heart, be true to yourself. And
Mm.
also, I'd highly recommend to shut down the news feeds on Facebook, and or the Facebook groups or newsletters from marketers who teach the other way, because it's just not for you. There's nothing wrong about it. There are people for whom it is, who love it. It's fine. So there's no judgment. Like if you're mind-based or operating mind-based, it's all good. That's the way marketing works. But if you're not like this, if you want to do heart-based marketing, like just get rid of all the noise, of all the stuff where you feel like maybe I should do, and maybe I feel like because then your greedy mind, or like that thing which is not resolved inside of you, which is not clear, that jumps on the train again, and you just lose time and money and months where you could serve people. And the next thing is, which I highly recommend, get real. Like online marketing is really nice, but what matters is the connection. And the best thing you can do is just be clear, or get clear on who your ideal customers are, the customers that you can help most. Mm-hmm. And then just find out where they are hanging around, where they are, and go to them and talk to them in one-on-one calls. You can even say like, hey, I offer this free coaching, like a trial session. I do it myself that way. Where it's just about your customer. You just ask questions like, where are you now? Where do you want to go? Or what's your goal? And what prevented you in the past to achieve this goal? And what would you need to get there? Just these 4 questions, and just listen. Don't say anything, but listen. And afterwards, they might ask you like, hey, can you help me with this? Or you feel like naturally that, there's something they don't know. You start talking about it and you get excited. So maybe a client comes out, but also if not, this is just research, right? So it's just like getting to know your people. And this is what happened with my authentic marketing for the highly sensitive people. After 12 talks and like having seen thousands, and really literally thousands of people live and in person reacting to what I say, after a year, I knew exactly what to put on my website. I didn't need to think about it. So this is also one thing. Don't scale too much. Don't put up a website too soon, because you can sit there for months if you don't know what to say. And you can only find out what to say if you talk to your people, if you talk to your ideal clients. And then it's just like, really, like when I set up my website, it was a deal of hours to write the text, the complete text for my website. It was just like writing my best friend, just like, hey, done.
Because you knew them already. You knew the problems, you know what they wanted, you knew what was in the way. Yes, that's fantastic. Yes, we need to get talking to people.
Exactly. And then it becomes natural, right? Then it's not, I want to do content marketing. What blog articles could I post? But you have heard from 100 people they have this problem. You naturally want to help them. And it just happens that you say, okay, now so many people have this problem. I should really help them. I just write a blog article. Or maybe I could even do a workshop, because I think, why not? So you offer this, but out of service and not out of, how can I get more conversions? How can I pay my rent? How can I achieve this? Yes. So just connect and the rest will follow. And if you're disconnected, then just really, literally, just when I have a day where I feel bad, the best thing I can do is have an appointment, like a trial session, with one of my clients. No matter how much fear there is, no matter how down I am, it's the best thing, because it puts me back in the game of, it's not about me. It's not about the little hurt me, ego me, but it's about serving. And the first 10 minutes are often hard and like I really struggle, but then this rush of energy comes back and the excitement, and there's someone I can help. And then and then the flow is there again.
Yes.
So if you feel like hiding in a cave, then go out.
Exactly. Do the exact opposite of what you really feel like doing in that moment. And it absolutely, I can agree. I can't agree with you more. When I've had a bad day and I see a client, the whole world changes for me. So
isn't that beautiful? Isn't that amazing?
Yes. How fantastic is that we can feel so good by just being in contact with one person, and it can be a little bit that they're better, but the fact that we made that difference
Yeah, yeah.
helps us to come alive. So, Thomas, this has been incredibly valuable, and I know there's 10 more conversations here that we can
Yeah.
have about different aspects of this. And for now, would you like to just let us know where people might find you? And I'll also put it in the notes of our conversation. Where's the best
Um,
place?
yes. So one thing is I have my Facebook page, which I love because people can ask questions and I can shoot live videos or videos. Um, and I really encourage people to just ask their questions there because I want to help.
Yes.
It's really like I'm here. There's so much I learned in the last like 7 or 8 years about marketing, and it's all there, but it wants out. So I need to, it's also a relief for me to get it out into the world.
Right.
Um, and then I also have my kind of website, but I really, it's authentic marketing.net, but
Mhm.
there's really nothing on it because I am so busy with like interacting one on a one.
Yes.
So it's really was also really for me to let go of this website. I need a website thought.
Right. That
So
may be
maybe
another mistake, right?
yes.
Thinking
So
you have to
so
have a website.
yes. So maybe there's a website. Maybe not. There's a contact formula in any case. Yes.
Perfect.
So these are the,
Great. So what I'll do, Thomas, and for our listeners, is just to put the link to
yes.
the full Facebook page in our notes, and it will be easily clickable. So thank you so much, Thomas. This has been incredibly valuable, inspiring again, and reminded me of certain things that it's sort of, it's like, yes, that is really important. So thank you so much for sharing with
Thank
us
you
all
as
this
well.
value. You're welcome. And thank you for our listeners. It's just really a privilege for us that you choose to spend time with us today, because I know everybody has busy lives. So thank you for spending this time with us. And
Yes.
we wish you a beautiful day.
I wish you the same. And yes, just like a blessing and thank you. And also to all the highly sensitive people out there in the world that know I have something to give. It wants and needs to go out there to make such a difference in this world, especially in this time. It's incredible. Like we need you. It's really needed to get a shift in the like in the positive direction for humanity. So this is what I see. It's
Yes.
really needed. It's not just like I want to do it, but hey, if we don't go for it and if we don't like lighten up this planet, like there's no one else.
Yes. It's up to
So
us. I love that. To be part of a bigger purpose.
it really is. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you, Thomas.